In this video, you'll see how to create this Origami Bodhi Bonsai tree. So first I went out and had a look for some Bodhi Bonsai trees, also known as Ficus religiosa, and came up with these three, which gave me inspiration for the model we're going to look at here. Then take some 20 gauge copper wire and create a frame that looks something like this, with a bunch of branches and stems for the leaves, as well as a nice bit of extra wire down at the bottom to tie the tree down once you put it in a pot at the end. So set up your paper mache gear, some strips of 1-inch newsprint, and some paper mache glue on both sides. The paper mache glue consists of 5 parts water to 1 part flour brought to a boil on the stove and then let cool before using. So take your covered newsprint strips and wrap it around the wireframe, something like this. This first pass, I'm focusing on putting paper mache around the trunk and the branches, leaving the stems for the leaves until the next pass. So set it up, let it dry for a day or so, come back and put another layer on. Start by adding some paper mache glue to the dried frame to soften it up slightly, and then put another layer or several layers of paper mache onto the branches and the trunk. So once again, let your trunk and branches dry for another day, and then come back and add another layer, this time focusing on the base of the trunk, getting it nice and thick, and then putting a layer around the lower branches and around the stems for the leaves. And when you're done with the paper mache, you end up with something that looks like this. 8 or 9, 10, 12 layers around the bottom, 4 or 5 layers around the branches, and 1 layer around the stems for the leaves. And after a day of drying, in this case 2 days of drying, you get something that looks like this. The next step is to apply the bark. This is a fine wood grain looking paper I bought from a local fine paper shop. So cut yourself some pieces to about 3 inches wide. Soak it in water to make it nice and soft so it'll easily mold onto the branches. Apply some paper mache glue to both sides of the paper, and then cut strips to wrap around the stems for the leaves. When your stems are all wrapped, start applying the bark paper to the trunk and to the branches. And when you're done applying the bark paper, you end up with something that looks like this. So next you want to create the leaves. This is what the leaves look like for a Bodhi tree. And this is what they'll look like once they've been folded. This is made out of a 1.5-inch square piece of tissue foil, something like this. First take the tissue foil and fold it diagonally. To create a crease, and then open it up, and with the crease pointing up, and then fold the corners into the center and then twist them a little bit towards the bottom of the paper to create a wide end and a narrow end. Do the same for the other side. So it should look something like that. Then fold the wide end into the center, like that. And the same for the other side. Then fold the leaf together along the original crease that you created and squeeze it all together. Then take the tip, about 1/8 of an inch, and fold it over to create a crease, and then unfold it. Move in about another 1/8 of an inch, create another crease, unfold it, and so on up to about where my thumb is. So once you've got all those folds, or creases rather, in place, open the leaf back up again. Here's your creases. Flip it around. Now you want to take the one side and reverse fold right there. And that creates another little fold over to the right. And you want to take the tip and fold it along the edge so that it just overlaps the corner of the triangle. Then squeeze that together and crease that fold, and then unfold the stem and do the same for the other side, lining it up with the edge of the paper and then creating a crease. Then unfold it. Take your thumbnail and create a little crease from the corner of the stem down to the center line. Same for the other side. Then pinch the bottom of the stem and push it up towards the leaf. And there you go. That's the folding done. So the next thing you want to do is shape the end of the leaf to give it a little rounder appearance and to create a point at the tip of the leaf. And once the tip's cut, you end up with something that looks like this. So this tree has about 300 leaves on it, so you'll have a fair bit of folding to do. Now go on to the second video in this series to see how to assemble your Origami Bodhi Bonsai tree.